Speaking of weird things though, we're just gonna be like doing this jumping between topics thing until there might come a point where I'm like, I'm just gonna talk about one thing for like 20 or 30 minutes. Otherwise, I've got a bunch of things in here that I am gonna talk about, and we're probably gonna talk about each for like 10 or 15 minutes. So, you know, every time I come back to do these solo episodes, I always kind of forget how to do them. It always just ends up being like a different thing. Sometimes it's just talking about anime for 2 hours. Other times I'm like, ooh, cool news story I want to talk about. Ooh, cool news story I want to talk about. But for now anyway. So recently the Steam Deck became available in Australia. November 19th we started seeing the sale of the Steam Deck. I have mine back here. I did not get this during the sale. I've had this one for quite a while now. This was sent to me directly from Valve. Still very much appreciate that, Valve. Thank you for that. I should use it more than I do. But alongside that announcement happening, alongside that being available, actually, what game do they have here? What are they showing? This is, what is this game? I don't know. That's Dave the Diver, isn't it? That is the popular fighting game, and there's Armored Core. Was that like the first boss? I think it might have been. There is also the white Steam Deck. Now, the white Steam Deck does look really, really cool. Why am I not in focus? Focus me! Focus me! You can see my hair getting thinner. There's gonna come a point where I'm bold. Why is my camera not focusing? Look at my top of my head. Oi. Oi. Focus? There we go. Anyway. My hair, I used to have really thick hair. Eventually it's going to become thinner. When I noticeably start becoming bald, then we are not going to go Vegeta. When this hairline starts going back, it's all going. Anyway, Anyway, Steam Deck. So there is a white Steam Deck. I like white controllers. I have my I have one. Oh, right. I forgot that you could scroll on the trackpad here. I have the white PS5 controller. I have another one in here as well. And I also have a Xbox One Series controller because it's nicer than the old Xbox One not Series controller. It's got some slight modifications to it, different grip, all that sort of stuff. But I am a fan of white controllers. The issue with white controllers is they are white controllers, and if you have sweaty gamer hands, which I do, and even if you don't, it's going to become a problem eventually, you are going to get your gamer grime onto the device. Usually what happens is anytime there is like connections in the shell, so any like bits like that your hand rubs on, usually the face buttons are mostly fine because as you're using you tend to like rub the grime off anyway. With the L1, R2, or L1, L2, R1, R2, shoulder and bumper buttons, whatever you want to say, typically in like the grooves, I'll go here, so it'll be easier. Typically in like the grooves along the buttons, and also with the trackpad, like along here as well, and then especially like on the back where your hands sit, because like the bits we're actually holding are fine, but it starts like pushing stuff down towards the middle. That all starts to get fairly like gross fairly quickly, and I don't think Valve has done anything magical to make sure that's not going to happen on the white Steam Deck. So I just caution anyone who would consider buying one. If you want to make sure it looks nice, make sure you are cleaning it. You can get away with not cleaning a black controller and it will look fine. You cannot do so with a white controller. It's gonna depend on the plastic and all that stuff, but there's no magic solution that I'm aware of besides just trying to keep it clean. But if you want to buy it, that's cool. Honestly, I would prefer... Honestly, I remember the last limited edition they did. Steam Deck limited edition. Not the white one. This one. What's a good picture of it? Limited edition OLED? Is that what it was? Yeah. This one. This one, I think, looked really, really nice. Honestly, they should have gone even harder with the orange. Like, they've got orange accents here. What they should have done is just gone full We Love Orange. Like, orange trackpad, orange sticks. Just fucking ball out with it. Just go hard with it. I do hope they do something fun like that in the future. You know, like you would see with old video game controllers where you'd have, like, translucent green or translucent purple or, like, gold and other things like that. There's something fun about just throwing caution to the wind and just making it look ridiculous, knowing that people are gonna be a bit, you know, a bit wary on it. Like, some people are gonna think it looks bad, other people, they are gonna like it, but the people who really, really like that style are going to absolutely adopt it. Also, just notice he looks like an egg. And his name is Humphrey. Beautiful. Beautiful. While we're on the topic of Steam, though, and Steam-related devices and controllers, there has been a lot of rumors about a Steam Controller 2. Steam Control... I wonder if we'll be able to find the old rumors. Yeah, here's the prior rumor. So this is a picture of the original Steam controller. Leak, Valve is making a Steam Controller 2 and a ROI for its Deckard. This was originally leaked by Brad Lynch, who is someone who very much likes to explore what is going on behind the scenes in, like, Valve's APIs and digging shit up. And usually this is a fairly good source for leaks. Obviously, going based on what you can see in the public API, things can obviously be bait. Things can be, like, tested internally and put into the API, but not actually going to be a real product. But there is a bit more than just a name. Code name for Steam Controller 2 is Ibex. Separate product for Deckard's ROI controllers. Separate product from Deckard's ROI controllers. Both are being tooled for mass production in their factories right now. That's why I know they're in later stages of productization. But we didn't have any idea what the controller could maybe possibly look like. Now, we're still not 100% certain because obviously we're not sure if this is actually going to be the 3D model of it, but the same person did also discover a 3D model. So let's bring up a bigger picture of that there. So this is a model of the controller that was found within Valve's information, Valve's stuff. Keep in mind, possible work in progress. You don't actually know what it's going to look like until it exists, or if it is going to exist, you know, until it exists. But let's just assume that this is the design it is going with. And I think it's fair to assume, because this is a pretty standard size, it's going to be around the size of a PS5 controller or an Xbox controller. I think the Xbox controller is... It is a tad less wide. Yeah, it is a... Just maybe... centimeter? Maybe 2 centimeters less wide? So, with that in mind, Okay, for anyone just listening, it's a very weird design. So you have the PlayStation D-pad and face button placement, so they're at the top. Now, it does also have trackpads. Those are, I wouldn't say in the place of the thumbsticks, because if you notice here, if you're watching, if you're listening, so if you have like a PS5 controller, if you're a PS2 controller, imagine where the sticks are came down, I don't know, another 2 centimeters. So it extends the plastic down, and that's where the trackpads are. And the sticks are in the same location they are in right now. So below and to the right of the D-pad, and below and to the left of the face buttons. So I'm really curious about how it feels to hold this thing, because at least judging by what we see here, there's a lot less like side grip. And obviously we can't tell what it looks like from the back of it, so it might extend inwards like we see with the PS5 controller. Let's actually compare this with the Steam Deck, actually. So I think what's very likely here is on the back of the Steam Deck, even though it doesn't have that that upwards concave, the inwards bend that you see on something like a PS5 controller or Xbox controller, any controller out there, it does have these handles. So I'm imagining that back here we also have handles as well. So this, like around here, there's probably rounded outwards. Around here is probably rounded outwards as well. Otherwise, I don't see how this thing could be held. That's the only the only logical approach I can think of. And I'm guessing it's gonna have the same feel to it that the trackpads on the on the Steam Deck have. It looks like it's around about the same placement. Obviously, it's kind of hard to tell with the scale here, because we don't have another object for reference to it. But they kind of have done a relatively good job with the sizing of the Steam Deck. So I'm imagining they're going to try something like that. Maybe making the sticks bigger. I do kind of hope that. I really don't hope they repurpose the Steam Deck sticks. Not to say the Steam Deck sticks are bad. I think they are fine for a handheld, but of the current generation, I do think the Steam Deck has the least comfortable sticks. They are the smallest. They have sharp edges on them. My fingers tend to slide off of them. I do think that they need to make the top of the sticks wider. Maybe like another half a centimeter. Maybe like another half a centimeter, because, or is it, are they around the same? Yeah, I think they're a little bit smaller than the PS5 controller sticks. Also, the PS5 controller sticks don't have the hard edge. They have like a rounded rubbery surface, which I find a lot easier to keep my fingers on. So I'm assuming that this is heavily inspired by the Steam Deck. That just logically makes sense. Like, they use the Steam Deck as their early product, and they A/B test it from that. Now, someone actually posted a... Okay, they also posted this one. The Steam Deck, the Steam controller with the blushing... the blushing trackpads. Where is the picture? Here. So, for a while now, people have made these renders of the Steam Deck if it didn't have a screen. Now, obviously, this is functional, but it's clearly not like a great design. However, it is very clearly the same concept as what we see over here. It just, rather than having the trackpads be flat on, which doesn't really make sense in such a cramped, like, area. Like, usually you're used to having your hands angled out rather than, like, dead straight. I think angling them out like they are here makes more sense. Also, not having the duplicated buttons, not having the speakers as well, I think makes a lot of sense. So I'm almost certainly gonna get one of these because it's gonna have like great support under Linux and all that. I never got an original Steam controller, but I know there's a lot of people that really, really like them, that really like the idea of using trackpads like this for gaming. So I want to know what it's like. I think honestly the only issues I have with the Steam controller layout is I think it is just the sticks. I actually do think it is just the sticks. The trackpads are fine. I think I do think the shoulder and trigger buttons are not as satisfying as they could be, right? Like, I like the heavier feel of the PS5 controller. Also, having the springs in the PS5 controller, even though they do tend to break, do give you a really nice feel, as opposed to what you have with the Steam Deck, where you have this fairly light push, but they also have like vibration as well, and the vibration, it's fine, it's just not great.